Hi guys, what's happening? So this is obviously my ranking of the Halloween films, and it's going to be a little bit subjective because you're probably not going to have the same breakdown that I've got and the same breakdown that this guy's got. So I'm going to jump straight in with the list. Okay, so coming in at number 10, and the reason I say number 10 is because I'm not counting Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. You don't need that in this mix. It's not a Michael Myers Halloween film, so I've completely got rid of it. So it is a top 10. Obviously, Halloween Kills is coming out this year, so we're looking forward to that, aren't we? All right. So coming in at number 10, Halloween 5, Revenge of Michael Myers. So there we go, guys. At number 10, kicking us off is Halloween 5, Revenge of Michael Myers. This is just a plain and awful film, and it's a plain and awful mask as well. I mean, the reason for it not being the original mask, or even the mask in Halloween 4, is that it just didn't fit Don Shanks' massive head. Now, it's kind of ironic that the guy playing Michael Myers' surname is Shanks, but there we have it. Now, it's not even the same mask as number 4. What more could be said? Where is the continuity here? And they show Michael Myers' human face straight away, which bugged the hell out of me. I know it's a little bit obscured, but it's just really annoying. And we're meant to believe that he's on this hermit's bed for a full year in a coma. I mean, Jesus, it's just beyond believable. I know you've got to take all these films with a pinch of salt because they're slasher films, but Christ almighty, what was happening here? The link between Jamie and Michael Myers is just flat out irritating throughout this. And Donald Pleasance has even broken down to the point that he's done 5 of these films and he's now harassing a child as part of his role, which is just bananas and infuriating to watch. It's pure horrendous. Now, the actor playing the teen, also called Michael in this film, has the exact same face and hair as the Michael Myers mask from this film. Someone needs to explain this to me immediately, because I do not know why this is happening, and it's so weird, but yeah, it's also funny. I mean, there's actually a point in the film where he kills him, and then he picks up the dude's girlfriend wearing another mask, assumably on top of his already horrendous Michael Myers mask. It's hilarious. This film takes a really funny turn. And then Donald Pleasance at the end beats Michael Myers to death with a 2x4 for about 10 minutes. The end of the film. It's the worst Halloween, I'm sorry guys. Following on from that, going in at number 9 is actually the one before number 5, Halloween 4.
Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers.
So coming in at number 9 is Halloween 4. How on earth are they still alive after blowing up from number 2? I don't understand. And he's now chasing his niece. And I don't really think they've explained how Laurie's died. They've just written her out because they couldn't get the original actress to be in the film to play Laurie Strode. It's bananas. It makes no sense. And once again, the mask is awful. That seems to be a running trait for most of these films, to be totally honest. He's also wearing shoulder pads, which at times make him look completely ridiculous. And you don't really even see, what's going on, how he gets from place to place. There's not a lot of walking Michael in this. He just seems to teleport, which, again, is just completely wrong. Now, I know that it's hinted that he gets the mask from the shop, where Jamie gets her clown costume, but then she's having, like, an existential crisis and having a complete panic attack and, hallucinating. So you don't know for sure if that's where he gets the mask from. But at least they explain why it's a different mask, because it's in a different shop and it would have blown up completely. But how Donald Pleasance as Loomis has only got half of his face burnt from the explosion, I'll never know. But yeah, it's mad. Now, you get halfway into the film and it's just so slow and there's nothing really happening at all. The guy who actually plays Michael Myers doesn't do a bad job when the camera's on him, but them shoulder pads and the mask just don't do him any favours. So George P. Wilbur tried his best, but he was given quite a bad shtick there, and no real screen time for him, to be totally honest. Such a terrible ending, and his niece turns into Michael Myers. Big fat groan. In at number 8, Halloween Resurrection. Number 8 is Halloween 8 Resurrection. Now, I actually didn't mind the concept of this film, the Big Brother house-esque style that they were going for, with the people being in the original Myers house, even though it's not the original Myers house, and having Michael come back and he's been living there for some reason, somehow, after all the other films, and he starts picking them all off. I liked that. I don't like handheld camera footage, and they used that partly in the film, which ruined it for me. And Michael Myers' mask in this looks very, very effeminate, like almost like the pretty lady from Leatherface. It's got so much detail in the shading that it almost looks like makeup around his eyes and around his lips. So it's quite disturbing, and it's okay. It's not the worst mask, but yeah, the film just fails to hit on all cylinders. All the actors are awful, and then you've got Buster Rhymes, and he roundhouse kicks fucking Michael Myers out of a window. And at that point, I was like, I'm out. I'm out. It seems to be just a drivel film for Buster Rhymes to be Buster Rhymes and look cool for beating up Michael Myers, and that's what made this number 8 for me. If it hadn't had that aspect in it, and it had a little bit better acting and maybe one of the original masks or one of the remake masks, we could have had a really good Halloween. But no, it falls down to number 8 for me, and it's mainly Buster Rhymes' fault, so thanks, Buster. Coming in at number 7 is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. At number 7, we've got Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Now, what do we say about this film? He looks good in this film. Michael Myers looks great. I like Rob Zombie's take on him, being aggressive, and obviously from the other film, delving more into his childhood and giving us that backstory. I liked his take on the character. But then we get this ripped face mask. He's ripped half of his mask off, so his face is now visible. You can see Tyler Maine's beard. His hair is crazy, and he still looks okay with the ripped mask, but it's almost like they didn't know what to do with this script and story. They just wanted him to make another one, and yeah, it's ridiculous. The best bit about it is actually the opening scene, and this film would have featured higher, but he starts seeing his mum. He starts seeing himself when he's younger again, even though it's a different child actor, which is horrendous. Doesn't even look like the other kid. And then you've got this white horse, and I know it's meant to be symbolic and all of that bollocks, but it just doesn't work. And the girl playing Laurie in this one, putting on the mask towards the end, it just got to the point of ridiculous. So it failed epically compared to the original. And yeah, it falls into my number 7 category. At number 6 is the 7th Halloween film in the franchise, H20.
Halloween H20.
At number 6 is H20, 20 years on from the original. Now, with names like Jamie Lee Curtis returning, having a very young Joseph Gordon-Levitt and a Josh Hartnett coming to the script, you would have thought that this would be a very good film. And unfortunately, it's not. Michael Myers turns into a burglar. He breaks into Sam Loomis's house and gets a file or something. And it's really convoluted. I mean, it's nice to have Laurie back, but yeah, it's really stupid. The school chase is horrendous. It just gets ridiculous. They're just driving around and breaking into places. And it's just ridiculous. It really, really is. We're supposed to believe that Laurie's a teacher now and she's dating some guy, and ugh. And this film has the even more hilarious CGI mask, which doesn't match the normal mask in the film, which is equally horrendous. So not only do they have one, but they have 2 bad masks in this film, and that is another reason why I have put H20 at number 6. Even looking at the list now, I'm thinking I probably could have rejigged that and dropped that lower, but it was fresh off of rewatching it, so that's where it's landed. It's number 6, and it should be bloody lucky that it's there. Coming in at number 5 is Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. So at number 5, we've got Halloween 6, The Curse of Mike Myers. Now, I'd just like to say, as we are halfway through the list now, that all of these that aren't in the top 4 can really be interchangeable for how bad they are. I had a hard task, really, because they're all terrible, terrible films. Halloween 5 is probably the worst though, so that still stays at number 10. But as we're at number 5, I just thought I'd preface that these are all terrible, and the order for these really doesn't matter so much as the top 4 do. The top 4 actually have a specific order, but again, as I've said, can be interchangeable because they are the best of the best. So, Halloween 6, The Curse of Mike Myers. The mask actually finally resembles Michael Myers out of all the other films that took away from 1 and 2 because they stupidly lost the mask. This mask finally resembles Michael Myers, and he looks really good in this. The actor playing him did a really good job. I mean, yeah, George Wilbur again doing a good job, and he had the mask to go with it. And I don't think he was actually wearing hockey pads this time, so there you go. That's what you can do when you give a good stuntman a decent mask and no hockey restrictions. He's good to go. So yeah, I was happy with Michael Myers in this one. So that boosts the film up above some of the others that we've discussed already. And you have Paul Rudd making his second film that he's ever made at the professional level. So that was interesting. He's not great in it, but I think he's actually restricted by the character he's playing. He's meant to be a little bit deranged and a little bit slow because he's playing Tommy Doyle, and that does come across. So are you going to criticize him for his acting in this when it's meant to be like that? It's really hard to say whether he was that wooden at that stage in his career or whether that was just him playing the character well. So it's a bit hard. I've seen Paul Rudd in a lot of more recent stuff, and he's a lot more fluid and a lot better. So I'm going to say it's down to his acting prowess rather than him being utter shit at the time. Now, with that being said, the film overall has this new cult vibe to it, and like almost a conspiracy going on due to Thorn and all of those ruins and ancient rituals and all that cult bollocks. So that's a bit naff, and that's what makes it number 5. But overall, the film's pretty good. As I said, I love Michael Myers in this. George P. Wilbur redeemed himself from the other Halloween film, and yeah, he makes a real go of it. The mask is great, the hair looks crazy. The funny thing is that they break in at one point to a maximum security, and Paul Rudd even goes maximum security and just pushes the door open with ease. So at number 4, it's Halloween 2.
I shot him 6 times. I shot him in the heart. This man, he's not human.
Universal Pictures
So
presents
number 4 then,
Halloween
guys,
2.
and as I said, the
More
top 4
of
were
the night
interchangeable,
he came home.
depending on how I feel. More so the top 3 than the top 4, but the top 4 were the best of the best. So number 4, Halloween 2. It's Mike Myers killing people in a hospital. I mean, what could really be better than that apart from the original? Killing people in a hospital, and yeah, there's not a lot of Laurie Strode in this. Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis is kind of irritating to me in the originals. I actually didn't mind her in the newest Halloween, but yeah, in the originals, I actually find her quite annoying, and she's very little screen time in this, which is great. It's more about Michael Myers going around on his rampage, and yeah, it looks good. They're using the original mask, not the original actor, so it distorts the mask slightly, but it looks good. He just looks like he's been in a battle, and you know, he's been shot a few times, which happened in the first one, so it flows nicely. It's the same night, which I like, and it continues the story perfectly. It takes everything from the original Halloween and it amplifies it to a higher level. There's more violence because there's more people to kill, and yeah, it was just a really good film with a really good script. The ending is a little bit drawn out, and obviously Michael Myers gets blinded and he's swinging wildly for ages with the knife trying to hit Laurie, who hasn't moved from her original spot, which kind of doesn't make sense because he would know where she is and he's not swinging anywhere near her. And that swinging goes on for ages, and the sound effect for the swing with the knife is hilarious after a while. And then eventually, obviously, you get the massive explosion at the end, and then the bigger climax, which is that Michael Myers comes out of the room fully engulfed in flames. It's crazy. It's crazy for the time. Obviously, Kane Hodder's done it since with Jason in Friday the 13th, but it's a great scene. It's iconic, and it follows on nicely from the first one. And really, for them to kill him off that way, I mean, that was pretty much it. So, Halloween 2, number 4, great shout, great film. Now, the top 3 They're interchangeable for me. I'm sure they are for you too. But the way we're looking at it is how I feel on the day. And I've watched these three a lot, and I've flip-flopped on a lot of them. But number 3, coming in third place, is Halloween 2018. Coming in at number 3, Halloween 2018. I actually hated this film when it first came out. Absolutely hated it. I watched it at the cinema and hated it. And I realised the reason why I'd hated it, because before coming to the cinema to watch that, I had re-watched the original, the original's remake by Rob Zombie. So Rob Zombie's Halloween 1. And the amount of aggression and violence in that film kind of distorted my memory of what Michael Myers actually was from the original. So after watching 2018, I was like, oh god, this is boring and slow and methodical, and just I didn't get going. And after rewatching the original Halloween, I then went back and watched 2018, and I loved it. And I was like, oh, because this is what Michael Myers actually is. This is the real character, and they did it perfectly. They didn't rip off number 1. They took it forward. They progressed. The script was good. The actors in it are pretty good as well. And Laurie Strode has evolved now. She's like a Sarah Connor from T2, Terminator 2. They were the vibes I was getting from Jamie Lee Curtis in that film. She's old, she's weathered, but she's ready for battle. Very, very Sarah Connor-esque. So that was great. I like that element. She's been preparing this whole time. So they both characters have been just compelled to think about each other and obsess over each other. She almost becomes a version of Michael Myers, but in her own way, which is cool, because that's what some of the other films tried to do, was that it's a curse that could be passed on. Well, it kind of did get passed on, but without them doing that. So it was great. He looks amazing as well in 2018. They took the original mask, they weathered the shit out of it, and it looks great. The film looks great, and it flows perfectly. Perfect pace in the film, and yeah, a real homage to the original 2, which it's meant to follow on from. So that's technically Halloween 3 in the canon chronological order. And yeah, I'm looking forward to Halloween Kills. But yeah, number 3, Halloween 2018. Now you probably guessed by now, guys, there's only 2 films left for me to put into my top 10. And this is a controversial one, and I went back and forth with this idea. Please don't kill me when I say this, but number 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween. Number 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween. I know, guys, you hate me, but hear me out, okay? Because this was a different take on the character, and it was fresh, and it was an original idea. He gave us a backstory that we never had to the original Michael Myers. Yes, obviously we all know that he killed his sister, but this delved a little deeper. We got the rough redneck background of Michael Myers, his violent, abusive upbringing, the bullying at the school. I liked the take on the character, and I like the aggression that comes out when he turns into Michael Myers. He's calm, he doesn't say anything, and then all of a sudden there's this explosion of aggression. And for a modern take, I really liked it as a remake. I hate using the word remake for this because I feel like it was just a different direction they went with the character. Yes, they made him more human, and a lot of fans hated that, but I actually really liked that aspect. I love the original Michael Myers, and I love the Rob Zombie remake. But yeah, for that very reason, I love the take on it, and that's why it's number 2, not number 1. And you guessed it, guys, number 1, it's got to be, isn't it? The original Halloween. Well done, mate. Well done. And of course, number 1's going to be the original Halloween, guys. I wasn't going to put Rob Zombie's Halloween above it because that wasn't the original blueprint for this character. It's not the original film. It's not the original character. It's not the original story. So this is obviously number 1. The original Halloween is the best. It sets the blueprint for all the other films to come, and it gives you that first slasher serial killer that hit the big time, where he's just walking and he's relentless. He's the, unmovable object. He's the relentless force. He's just unrelenting, and he's just constant. And that is why number 1 is the best. You all know it. You all knew it was coming. I would have been mad if I didn't pick it as number one, but it is. It's the best. You got the original cast. Donald Pleasance is amazing. Obviously, his performance in the later Halloweens does tend to deteriorate a little bit, but that's because of the poor script and the poor other actors he's got to work with. But Donald Pleasance, Dr. Loomis, is historic. And then obviously you've got Nick Castle as Michael Myers. The Shape, amazing. The fact that they just called him The Shape as well in that film, so good. The mystery to this character was off the charts when this film came out, and it was before my time, but even watching it back I can see that now, and it is still scary. It's scary to the fact that there's just nothing behind those eyes. And you know, number one will always be the quintessential in the slashers, and it's still the best Halloween to date. Obviously we've got the new Halloweens coming out, and they look like they're following on with great respect to the original, so I'm really excited for those guys. Let me know what your top 10 Halloween films is. Would you put Season of the Witch in there? It's got nothing to do with Michael Myers or the rest of the films, but where would you rate that if you had to? So let me know in the comments your top 10. I want to know what you would say were different, what your preferences are. We're all different. We've all got our own different preferences, and I want to know where you stand with it. But the original for me is the best, and yeah, that's how we go. So I'll just give you a quick rundown again, guys, before we go, just so you've got it. So we've got 10, Halloween 5, Revenge of Michael Myers. At number 9, we had Halloween 4. At number 8, we've got Halloween 8, Resurrection. Number 7, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Number 6, Halloween 7, which was H20. Halloween 6 is in at number 5, The Curse of Mike Myers. Number 4, we've got Halloween 2. At number 3, claiming third place, we've got Halloween 2018. At number 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween. And number 1, the original Halloween film. So there you go, guys. There you have it. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you again in the next one. Peace. Yeah, like, comment, share, subscribe. Cheers, guys. Peace. High five. Oh. Let's all do the conga. Let's all do the conga.